Hey, and good evening. This is Tiger. Welcome to my stream, second unboxing stream for Train Sim World 5 tonight. I want to test the West Coast main line. So far I've only dabbled around a bit on Frankfurt Fulda. Try to figure out what works and what doesn't. At least on the ICET and on the Flixtrain. Yeah, and today I want to look at West Coast Mainline. You can see as an Epic Game Store player I am still reduced to what comes with the deluxe edition and what I own out of the set that comes with the special edition. All the rest will still have to be delivered at release date, so everything is a bit small here, but nevertheless I think I can play it. Yeah, I've left a couple of posts on the forums about what I think is not so great on the Frankfurt Fulda line. What is great is that I finally managed to get DX12 working again here, and the game looks so much better under DX12 with Geloxo's ini settings. So what do we have here? Maybe we just test out the Pendolino class 390. There is a stroke 0 and a stroke 1 version. I think we just take some nice service. Manchester Piccadilly. Yeah, unfortunately it is not represented until we get to Manchester Piccadilly. You know, Manchester Piccadilly is represented in the Glossop line, and would actually be cool to have the full West Coast main line up to Edinburgh and Glasgow, because in Edinburgh, Waverley, the station is already represented in the Glasgow-Edinburgh Express, obviously. Also the Glasgow station, but not the one from the Express DLC, but the one from the Cathcart, Glasgow Central. Liverpool Lime Street and Spirit of Stream, obviously not the same era, but still a station that belongs to the West Coast main line. Manchester Piccadilly, that we know as I said from the Glossop line, and Birmingham New Street from the Birmingham City line. So actually a lot of the big stations on the West Coast main line are already in the game. They just have to connect the dots, I think. Here you can find them. Liverpool Lime Street, for example. Manchester Piccadilly. Wembley International Depot, that's a short one obviously. So I want to start at London Euston Station and go to, as I said, Birmingham New Street. Unfortunately we will stop in Milton Keynes. And don't go all the way through to driver, please driver. Not this conductor stuff. Actually, you could try to make a mashup and go with your train in free roam through that part of Birmingham Cross City that is used by the West Coast Main Line trains, and that little part in the Glossop line that is used by the West Coast Main Line trains, and so on. Yeah, unfortunately AJ is not here. Yeah, and I can see the chat for the first time now. Hello Tiger, and also Theodoros. Hello Theodoros, another showcase stream, huh? Yeah, an unboxing stream. It's actually the first time that I'm running this route, and we just dabble around a bit. And hi Super Paul, unfortunately I've had far too little time to watch your videos and streams lately. They are not running away, they are on the channel, and as soon as you get around you can watch the juicy parts of it. I had another Austrian signaling stream the other day, so actually I would like to have more Ravens Lofty. This stupid ad break. I thought I had switched off all the ads, but obviously Twitch wants to make the extra cent on my 5 viewers. So I'm so sorry for that. Maybe AJ finds a way around it, or I stumble across a way. So I have actually looked in the TASS stuff. Ravens Lofty. Ad break over. Oh, you did not hear me that I was complaining about the ad break. It would be so great to not have an ad break here. Since I'm not making money with what I'm doing here, I don't need ads. So, did this actually release the doors and open them as well? Or did it only release them? Interesting. That was not the button that did something. Does it work with that? Do I need to set the reverser to neutral at least? Maybe that is a thing that saves us here. Yes, and the doors are opening now. Great. The Austrian stream I watched already on YouTube. It was very interesting, says Super Paul. Thank you so much. Actually, I dug deeper, and Austria has those many info, this really a lot of information in the regulatory law already. That is much more enlightening than the German versions of this law. So AWS is switched off twice. Yeah, I looked into TASS and actually tried to find out, and the only thing that we got from TASS is this compartment here. And this... So those two things actually are, if I'm not mistaken, what is connected with the TASS stuff. It is mentioned in the RSSB driver's handbook, but only as in the abbreviations part, so you can find what TASS means, but you don't find any elaborations or instructions. What speed limit have we here? 25 when we start. GSMR is working. Let's see what this train does for us. Oh, it's already it only has... It has 4. So it's okay to go to 3 quite fast. And then when we're rolling, has this interesting speed clock. The 0 here is obviously indicating the dynamic brake effort as soon as we get to dynamic brake effort. What this cross means, I have not figured out yet actually. On the signal switchable. Yeah, and TASS. I actually use ChatGPT to dig deeper into if there are trains that have a TASS display where you can actually see anything of the speed that is valid for the train, but all the ChatGPT did was invent a display, and that obviously did not do the trick. So as far as I can see, we only have those 2 panels here that are connected with the TASS system. what does control us against some speed, and at the same time, well, can turn off the tilting authority. It should be running on Euro balises, so what we know from GNT and ETCS. X is obviously only the line that we are running on. Oh, we're not stopping on the way. Did I pick a non-stop service? Interesting, interesting. There are a lot of non-stop services here in train. Well, ChatGPT. Sometimes it can find you some hints where you can find additional information, but you always have to verify everything. I have found some standards that describe the TASS system, but they are all withdrawn on the RSSB website in the standards catalog. And they had some information what actually the driver should be told about what is happening on his TASS system, on his train. So here obviously there is an indicator that should tell us that the train is supervising any speed. 55. How long are we? 240 yards. Then we have a TASS health indicator, probably telling us that the system is working. And the other indicators on top are typically for faults. So if anything is not working as expected. I love how the British trains are not using any headlights, but this might be me not using any headlights. Let's see if that is better next time. Now our light configuration looks better. Another speed limit increase that I missed. I can go 80. Aha, now the speed supervise button turned on. So probably we can now run on the enhanced speed. Yeah. We have those special speed signs, the yellow ones, for the tilting trains here, EPS. What is enhanced permissive or permissible speed? Something like this. Got to look it up if I make a proper stream about that. And sometimes we have to acknowledge something that comes from the TASS system. Yeah, we see all those indicators are fault indicators. Only the speed reduction you will see. Well, even with the lights on, it is not any lighter in the tunnel. 100. And now it says 105. Or so, yeah, looks like 105. How is that so? Maybe I didn't read it properly. Here are some of the Euro bases, most probably. 120. So if there is a lot of stutter, we can always blame it on the fact that the shaders need to be calculated anew. But it is quite slow anyway. Enhanced permissible speed, yes. Very useful. Yeah, oh my god. And hey, Tapoli, thank you for your comment. And for commenting on the stream. Wembley Central. So now we're getting to the part that we already know from the Bakerloo line. DLC. With the underground tracks to the left, I think. I think Wembley Central is one of those stations where you go from one side of the West Coast Main Line to the other. Can we actually see the Wembley Stadium? Might have already passed it. Although the days of the EPS are probably numbered since the 805 Everos don't tilt, yeah, well. We have the GNT in Germany still around, even though it is a dying technology, or has been for 20 years or more. Now, that's the thing with those technologies of the future that don't really make it into the future. And still they are around. What's that? Harrow and Wealdstone. This is where the Bakerloo line ends. Here on the left you have this track for turning around. Yeah, it takes you considerably longer on the underground. British EMU DMU always look odd to me, says Theodoros. It's like their freed wheels are exposed not in a subtle way like German and French trains. Uh-huh. Maybe this is a thing of the low loading gauge. That the trains need to be narrower at this point. So what else do we have on the cockpit here to play around? Hazard lights are not working. Here is my light switch, by the way. Temporary tilt. I think the alarm acknowledges only if we actually get an alarm. Let's see if we get a speed reduction alarm when we are running towards a speed reduction. On-train communications we cannot use. HVAC, doors, lights in the cab. No, we did not get an alarm. Ravensloft, I think there was a mention that GNT is used to permit making up delay. Trains are timetabled without, whereas TASS is used in timetables. Well, in German timetables you have typically two columns, one for without GNT and one with GNT. But I have heard that too, that they are actually not building their timetables on the speed profiles of the GNT, the ES enhanced speed profiles. So the TASS did not inform us about an incoming speed limit, and it did not stop us either. From what I have read, it should have informed us, probably, and at any rate stopped us, slowed us down to the permissive speed. But it didn't. It didn't do any. Did not show any reaction. Even have an intervention reset button in case that it is intervening. But it didn't intervene. $115. We missed the increase to 125. 125 is the max, still under TASS control, right? Or are there actually any lanes and lines that go up to 140 as was intended on the East Coast main line with the flashing yellow? Doesn't change the fact that we can't see the signals properly anymore if we go too fast. Let's see if we can use the horn. Remember when on last stream I said now the N key actually works for the high tone of the horn? It worked great in Germany, but it does not work here anymore. I can hit the N key as hard as I want, there is no sound. That's what I want to do, but I can't do it if the N key doesn't work. What was that AWS for? DB Schenker Cargo or DB UK Cargo. Last week DB sold cargo, not cargo, Schenker. The logistics company. For 14... What was it? A lot of money at any rate. And here's our AWS TPWS pad. Talk to the other cab. Incident recorder is healthy, that is good. So in case we make any mistakes, everyone knows. Still 125. Yeah, those yellow speed signs, they are harder to read. Theodora says, hi, you might be right in terms of that narrower body width. I want to check in-game, but have no British add-on currently installed. I'll do it later. Alright. That will be interesting. Tell us what you found out. Viper reward. Yeah, that's true. That I asked. If it can, system-wise, and if it is done anywhere. Because here it looks as if 125 is the best that we can do. But I think we still have the problem with the visibility of the signals at speeds that fast. As far as Ravensloft knows, it cannot authorize above 125. Yeah, because of infrastructure and signaling limits. That's what I thought. In Germany, GNT cannot authorize you to go faster than 160 either. Because it cannot guide the train. CAPT could authorize up to 155, but the APTP itself was limited to 125 for those same reasons. Yeah, I read about this too. Those systems. But they are no longer in use anywhere, are they? It was connected with the Voyager trains, right? Aha, the braking effort indicator works. Only for the APTs, not for the Voyagers. The advanced passenger trains. That's always the problem with calling your stuff advanced and last generation, state of the art. And then some decades go by and whoops. So what do we encounter here? One of the regular trains. Oh, we have a pair of slow lines too on the right side, probably. The HST made it 50 years, and I think the APTs would still be considered pretty advanced. Yes. And high-speed train is a better name in that context, because they are still quite fast. We have driven 39 miles. Have we? Is that a brake indicator here? Bletchley. Now you redeemed it. Thank you for redeeming. Yeah, this is our 380 Pendolino with 390 Pendolino with 9 cars. The stroke 0 version. So unfortunately I cannot go to Birmingham Cross City and get this train on the free roam. Otherwise we could have actually jumped a bit and then ended this train properly in Birmingham New Street. Well, it will be interesting to see if the frame rate is actually improving with the next run. Because on Frankfurt I got quite reasonable FPS numbers this afternoon. Double yellow. Oops, that flips quite easily to the harder braking levels. Getting a yellow. Well, we are approaching anyway. Milton Keynes Central. Line speed does not actually drop for the stop. Do we have a fourth? Oh, we have even 6 tiers of brakes. That means we can go to 3 and 4 without qualms. So let's see where the signal is. We have 5 minutes for 1 mile. Guess we're just going straight into the loop. Yeah, and the speed limit just does not drop. This looks like a speed sensor loop or overspeed sensor loop for the TWS. Red Leader, hello, I improved my FPS a bit using DX12. Yes, can confirm that. That was what improved my FPS on Frankfurt. But maybe it still has to calculate all the shaders here for the new line. But that is a good hint. It also looks much better with DX12. You don't have those blotchy shadows most of the time. It looks a bit more defined. And maybe on the next run we will get better FPS. Or the tilting stuff. It has the best frame rate for you. Well, then there is hope. Because on Frankfurt my frame rates were at 45 this afternoon. Yeah, that's what I understood. So, let's see what the stopping boards look like on this route. And how the brakes react. Blue, they are the stopping boards, so just as we are used to. And the brakes at 4 react quite fast. So, not in emergency. See what happens if we put them in emergency. Obviously they drain. We have here actually markings on our gauges for the brake pressure that look a bit like on the American locomotives. Even though American locomotives typically do not distinguish between the axles. But why did it only keep the brakes on 2 out of 4 axles? Interesting. So this is Milton Keynes. Well, typical thing with high speed lines. Quite cool, but maybe also a bit dull on the third run. Let's see how we can go back to London on the 350/1. What is the bread and butter train here for this DLC? Crew to London Euston, Rugby London Euston. That is the train that started closest, I think, to Milton Keynes. Rugby would have been, if I'm not totally mistaken, now more or less the next bigger city. Let's see what happens if we take this train back to London Euston. Alright. Let's see how this thing works. I've never been in a train of that kind. Let's see if we can find the master switch. There it is. Or it is. That looks like it. Reverse is here. Neutral here is. It has this funny little button here, but it does not work. I think holding brake. At least I cannot see that it can be pushed. Some trains, I think the networker has actually a working holding brake. Guard signal. Let's see where our safety systems are. Vigilance, DSD, TPWS. Okay, we don't have a separate fuse here, because we already get our acknowledge. The radio is working already. This stuff is not working. Non-driver side wiper, in case we need to wipe over there. Unit deselect. That's for the doors. Well, lights, maybe. Where are the lights? Where is my light configuration? Here's the H cap. HVAC. Next to your virtual legs. Aha. Cap equipment lights. And here is daylight running. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's see if this train is moving. Vigilance. Set something. What is our speed limit? 110. We have... Oh, we are not stopping either. Max speed 110 is also the maximum authorized speed for our train. It has a yellow sector. I thought we can stop a bit, but we are not stopping. It is the Rugby London Express, obviously. Well, it has a one-head code. Did not pay attention. Should have picked the train with a two-head code. Then we probably would have gotten more stops. Glaring sun. I think I set the time of year to November. I thought they were the same width since they're all on standard gauge, says Theodoros. Yeah. Well, the standard gauge for the wheels is quite standard all over the world, but the loading gauge for the vehicle, they are sometimes different. I remember when the Class 66 was made for... It is made in America, and is for... They had to reconfigure a lot of it because of the narrower British loading gauge, if I remember that correctly. But I don't know if this is only the height or also the width around the trucks and bogies. But it wouldn't surprise me that German trains, they sometimes seem to have this kind of housing around the bogies and trucks. This is what we get for inventing trains. Yep. And also here, the N key does not make a horn sound. But it is still on the N key, isn't it? Controls. Keyboard controls. Headlights horn. N. Horn 2. Should make a sound. The space works, but the N key does not. Me. Exactly on the British trains. And for whatever reason, the frame rate is much better, still not really superb, but acceptable. This is what you get for inventing trains, yeah. Well, Incoming speed restriction zone 90. At least now I can read the normal speed signs. Let's see if we get the Morpeth board before we get to the speed reduction here. Whoop. No, was not the Morpeth board, was it? Was a very narrow one, if so. Half a mile. Oh, it has not a notched brake, but a continuous brake. Here's our little... No, here's our little sign for the 90. In Austrian signaling, you have the loading gauge actually in the regulatory law. At the end of the Eisenbahnbau- und Betriebsverordnung, there is a diagram, and I think in the German EBO there is something similar. Oh my god! Did this jump scare me? Achievements on Train Sim World. The world has caught up with us Epic Game Store players. Oh, I missed the increase to 110. There comes the Pendolino. It's actually a Morpeth board. It is so narrow that it does not interfere with the narrow loading gauge of the British trains. But with this lighting, it is hard to see what is on it. Look at that. There is actually some stuff that this train is telling us. Maybe we should not read this when racing through the country. In specific Dovetail-made game, can you transfer your Steam DLC collection into Epic account, or you're gonna have to buy it again? You have to buy it again. Otherwise, I might have long before transferred my stuff to Steam, because now you can't transfer this red leader totally correctly. It is a bit annoying sometimes to play on Epic Games Store, but since I have invested so much money in the Epic Games Store version, I stick with it now. But you're always, well, the least loved child as an Epic Games Store player, because they're always talking only about PC, meaning Steam customers, and console customers. And us Epic Games Store players are always a bit between the chairs. And I have some Transcend World stuff on Steam because I bought those bundles that they sometimes had on Humble Bundle or on Fanatical, and in case that Epic Games Store breaks, I have at least some trains to move. At the beginning they only had the Steam version for PC, so a huge portion of the player base is there, that's true. And then for whatever reason, maybe they had to offer the game on Epic Games Store because they are using the Unreal Engine. And they gave away Train Sim World 2 for 1 week in the Epic Games Store. And this is how I got into this game, because I picked up the free Train Sim World 2 copy on Epic Games Store, thinking, who on earth would enjoy a game where you have to run trains? And I checked it out and got sucked into Sandpatch Grade and running heavy freight trains across the mountains. And then I bought the summer bundle on Epic Games Store, and so I am stuck there. And in the beginning you couldn't buy the legacy routes on Epic Games Store, only the things that were new. I think Epic probably paid them to have the game there. They are trying to compete with Steam and they need to get games in their platform. Yeah, I guess there was some pressure to do this, because on the Dovetail shop you only can buy Steam keys, and they always forget about the Epic clientele, and I guess there are not so many of us left. Well, Steam user can't escape not making every game account also, and yes, especially if playing game made in Unreal. Yeah. Well, at the time I thought they gave away the game for free on this platform, so I buy the DLCs on this platform out of courtesy. And well, I thought it will not make a big difference with the sales and everything, but actually it did. They have one decent sale for Christmas following... Oh, missed the speed restriction to 100. Following the point in time when they finally made the legacy stuff available on Epic Games Store. all the pre-Transcend World 2 stuff. And that was a good sale because you could buy a lot of the old stuff with big discounts. And yeah, for sure Steam has the best sales, and now I just made a rule that I never buy a game for more than I saw it on Steam before. And this is why I did not buy so super many of the Transcend World 4 era DLCs. And for Transcend World 4 they had an additional 10% pre-order discount on Steam. Like on Steam you have all your previously owned routes and locos already, and we have to wait until the release date, and then we probably will have to call support and tell them that a lot of routes and locos are still missing because they were sold in a bundle, and the Epic staff did not know that also the bundle codes need to be transferred to the new version of Transcend World, like it was with Transcend World 3 and Transcend World 4. And then I have to chat with my good friend JD again until 2 or 3 weeks later finally everything is running again. I hope this will not happen this year. Missed the increase. Well, on the other side, when I first launched Transcend World 5, it loaded a dev version of the Transcend World 4 instead. Did it? That's funny. No, it didn't do that for me. ETG marked the wrong version in the Steam store for release. Took them 10 minutes or so to notice a change. Yeah. This is the point where you want to rename your Steam folder and keep the files for later use. Dev build is never a bad thing to have. Okay. Kings Langley. Is it only me, or are the running times, especially for those few stop trains in Transcend World 5, extremely long, so that you're always arriving a couple of minutes early? Theodora says, I'll just claim the free upgrade and go from there. Probably buy the Frankfurt Fulda on sale. Yeah. Well, for me actually it was a question whether I buy the deluxe edition or stick with the standard one, because the $40 for 3 routes is actually quite a bargain. Was it a moped sport? Doesn't look like it. But the additional $27 for the deluxe version to get this Pendolino here and the yellow yellow the green Flix train. Well, compared to the 3 routes that you get for the 40, it is quite a bit more, I think. Well, whatever. They have to feed their cats too. The routes are longer than most others, right? And this is a trend, like the routes that came in with train symbol 3, train symbol 4 were all really long, and you think, is that the new standard for the length of routes? And then you have one DLC after the other that was quite shortish or only of medium length. So for the 3 routes that you get with a core game every year, I actually don't complain about having to transfer my profile every year. What is luckily now not a problem anymore. It was quite shaky, at least on Epic Games Store, to transfer the profile from train symbol 2 to train symbol 3. Bushy. They always do something bigger for the big yearly release. It is not going to be the same all year, yeah. Did I miss? No. I did not miss a speed sign. There was some sign. Bushy. Also, usually the first DLC after the big release is subpar. Is that so? I remember the first release after Train Symbol 4 was the Blackpool branches, no? And that was quite celebrated. Didn't buy it myself yet. Maintalbahn. Oh, I wouldn't say that this is subpar. The Maintalbahn is actually quite nice. If you replace the Austrian limit of shunt boards with German ones. Yeah, and Blackpool is not from DTG, that's correct. Well, it was the first one. So you're talking about the first Dovetail DTG. And we are already closing in on Harrow and Wealdstone. Because they use all the resources on the big yearly release and the first normal DLC suffers it. He says gets less resources to make it. Well, you might be right there. At least it was a smaller DLC. And it was also not sold for full price, right? The Maintalbahn. Yeah, but what annoys me the most is actually that the new routes are typically quite good, but still have some annoying little bugs in the signaling, especially in the safety systems, and they never ever get fixed. I can't actually remember when the last fix to... Well, I can, but when there was a significant fix to the signaling system or the safety system or the signs. That is just not touched. So, Harrow and Wealdstone, we're back on Bakerloo line territory. Yeah. See, you hate it the most. He hates it the most as well, and this is what annoys me most as well. If there is a signaling bug, and it is never touched. So actually there was a fix to the signaling in the Cathcart Circle Line remaster, but it did not fix the distance signal for the splitting distance signal, for example. And in Germany, the ICE trains since Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel-Würzburg do not distinguish anymore between a restricted and a non-restricted monitoring, because they did not implement the alternate flashing of the 85 and 70 indicator. Even though Mike Goltz on the forum said they are flashing differently, they are not flashing differently. They are supposed to flash differently, but they don't. And the same problem on the ICET now. Wembley Central and drop to 90. Oh! What did I do? I wanted to move the camera, not the reverser, into reverse at 90. Probably broke the train now. So we have 100% braking effort. This is a feature actually, that if we put the reverser into reverse while driving and the train is shutting down. Yeah, looks like it. What I actually wanted to do is to look for the stadium, and there it is. Wembley Stadium. So, the thing is, says Red Leader, sometimes the dev sends a fix for a problem and it stays in the development repository for months and years. Yeah. I have the suspicion between the executive producer and the devs on the working level, all the people in between are not so super savvy when it comes to signaling, safety systems and all those things. Theodoros, as you and other sim enjoyers say, it's more and more looking like and marketed as a game, less as a simulator. Yeah, that is obvious. Ravensloft looks like an e-brake, yeah. It looks like it yanks in the e-brakes. At least I did not check if it also applied the pneumatic brakes. At any rate, if you put in the reverser to reverse when you're running, this is shutting down the train and gets you to a stop. Red Leader, my guess is because they would have to pay for QA and then console testing to get a release approval. And still, then they should just bundle it. They can fix the trophies and masteries and all that secondary interesting stuff. So I cannot know. Okay. Oh, it's taking us to the US. But I guess signaling and safety system are so deep in the layer of game code that they don't want to touch it. Because the risk is that they break more than they fix, and then they need even more resources for it. So they just leave it as is. Ravensloft, it does amuse me that the Desiro to 110 miles per hour with an effectively effectively flat front, and we are running with 30 through a 15 switch, because I'm reading the chat instead of paying attention where I am going. At least my signal cleared. Yeah, it is totally not an aerodynamic train, right? It is just pop, the door in the wind. And the red leader says there are still plenty of achievements that do not work properly, so they also do not fix that. Their fix this year was removing most of them. Alright. Well, I trust you're right. I'm not really paying attention to achievements and stuff like this, so I wouldn't know. Maybe I will now know that we have achievements on Epic Games Store. No, probably not. Where is the 75 here on my speed clock? It is 75 here, it is. What was that? What might this be now? Some sort of a marker for starting a mission. Probably. With a wizard's hat. This is the hop marker. Ah, the hop marker if you want to fast travel. I see. And it has a wizard's hat because you are using flea powder, or what was that? That's the route hopping icon, says Theodorus. I see. Ah, for route hopping. For route hopping to the Bakerloo line. I see, I see, I see. 40 incoming. I also wonder how it is possible that they did not notice they did not have the license for NWR till 2 weeks before release. Yeah. That is one of the things that make you wonder. So here must have been the Morpeth that I did not see. Slowing us down to 40 or something. 40 for us. Does it say where we are? No. Increase to 50. $40.25 for getting into the station. No, we're actually not that early, but this might have something to do with our stop. So are we going across the switch? Most probably. Otherwise, our signal would have been red. So let's see, where's the limit to 25? It's still up ahead. The 10. That is for the TPWS OSS overspeed sensor loop. Which is actually quite interesting that they had to build special TPWS grids, mini grids, to control slow speeds like this. Because with the normal grids, the train would always pick up both signals of the arming loop and the trigger loop and then stop the train thinking we're spadding. Let's see if they have mini grids here, or if they just have the normal ones. Didn't see a loop at all. Or maybe I was just looking away when we passed it. Here we are. Made it to London Euston Station. I actually like the color of this PIS thingy. Yellowish green or greenish yellow. The alternative for better simulations, I guess, are Susi, OpenBVE for UK, and Run 8 for US. And to be fair, Susi and Run 8 are quite expensive. Yep, I guess you're right, Theodoros. But still, I want to have this nice look and feel, and if it works out in some lighting and with some fog settings, Train Sim World 4 has the best atmospheric simulation of the surroundings of the train, and sometimes it looks really nice. And I want both. I want an okay simulation, and I want to have it look nicely. And OpenBVE it's a great game, no question about that, but it is a bit clumsy for not so supercomputer cracks as me, maybe, to get into it. Susi as well. I own Susi, and I played it a bit, but it is annoying that it does not properly show the umlaute with an English setup on your computer. And then I want everything in one game. I want UK, I want American routes, I want German routes, Austrian, Swiss routes, French routes, Italian routes, Czech routes, Polish routes, Japanese routes, Dutch routes, so that it is all in one package with the same look and feel. So, how long did we do? 1 hour 10. Those graphics are from Windows 89, yeah, that's the point. Let's see what you can actually do with a Mark II 1972 stock train here. Elephant and Castle. Probably we're not going really to Elephant and Castle here. Probably we're just going the overground part, no? With the Mark II train. You only drive to Queen's Park, yes. That's what I thought. Let's do it anyway. Let's see if we recognize it from the Bakerloo line or if it is actually looking completely different. Oh god, when was the last time I drove a Mark II 1972 stock train? Oh, we have to go to Harrow Wealdstone first. There was this thing in... You always have to do blindsided. Enter. Something like this. Let's see if that works. Headlights on. Stabling light is off. It looks... What lights do we have now? Don't really have any lights. Was there a lights master switch? That's for the doors. That's setting. This is tripping. Now let's just see why we don't have lights. Let's just brake test the rollback cutout. Saloon lighting. Ah, this is this one valve here. It should actually doesn't. Well, it goes at any rate. But why do we have this hissing sound? Ah, now it goes off. I thought that was... Now it can be switched off. 10 or 15? I think 15 it was. Yeah. That's the point. Release the brakes, then do the valve. Alright. But we still don't have lights on, have we? Hard to say, but I don't think so. No, they were... No, we have had... Weird. Yeah, it was just me confusing things. I thought they were set to off. And I switched them, and so I just switched them off. But now we're good. What is the speed limit here? Like 40, 45? No. 45. I don't need to press the valve reset. It's not the vigilance device. Theodorus will call it a night. See you all later. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great time and a good night, Theodorus. So, where were my brake markers? Running 45. This train brakes really fast. Still. And it tends to snap back with the keyboard shorts. I really have to hold it a bit. I have the 710 layer, I think. No, I don't have it. That's not the one that I bought. But at the moment I don't have any layer anyway, since I have to wait for the release date. But I think I will get the 710 layers soonish now. Yeah, since it is now layering into this DLC, it makes more sense to buy it than it did before. South Kenton. I think track speed is 45. To South Kenton. Pendolino. I think South Kenton was the station where it is always going a bit further than you think, because it is going downhill. Yeah, I guess so. Yes, this is what I'm doing too, waiting for the next sale, and then I think I will stock up a bit. North Wembley. No, actually you can brake much later than this. So this is North Wembley. Here's the stadium again. Now we got Wembley Central, and I think after that we will switch to the other side of the the West Coast main line. The West Coast main line. As there was a marker for a semi-automatic signal. Would have needed this for our stream with the signal marker plates. But it is not. Oh, it is. This part is network rail signaling, so could have used this. Let's see if that was too optimistic. No, it's actually good. And I think now we're switching sides. And we'll have a 40 limit at the bottom of the ramp before we go through the tunnel, if I am not mistaken and remember that correctly. And then we get to this other depot. Can't remember the name now. Where also the overground line is coming in. Stonebridge Park, yeah. Just need to read what the objective marker says. Back to 45. Running uphill. Can still accelerate a bit. Stonebridge Park here on the left side, there is a depot. Can't really see it here. That is actually used in the Bakerloo line, DLC. You come in here with your trains. Now I'm getting more and more optimistic with the brake distance. Ah, yeah. And this over there is the Princess Royal Distribution Center, if I remember correctly. Yes, there are many trains in the Bakerloo line DLC. But it's actually quite cool. Harleston. In some audiobook that I was listening to, someone said that Harleston is one of the stops on the London Underground where the chances of getting mugged are the highest. I have no idea if this is true. And I have no intention to find out. So the Princess Royal Distribution Center is taking up a lot of processing power. Did you see how the fourth rail needed to be cut for the AWS magnet? The 30 is announced here because there is this limit. It's not Harleston here. Apparently. And then it doesn't stop if it is supposed to. Oh, we're not in service. Can we fix this? Cannot. Ah, yes, we can. We have to use the crank. Queen's Park. Now we're going to Elephant and Castle, even if we're not doing this in this. So, at least we have a proper information board. If not at the back of our train. It's over the door, yes. Thank you. Just like on the Class 101. Oh, Paul, can you hear it? It is... not the loudest horn in the history of trains. Are we over? No, we are still approaching the 30 limit. Wealdstone Junction. Yeah. Here is the limit. And it's the station where you honk around the corner. I remember now. Can just use the ramp to slow down for the 30 here. Then you don't lose that much time. That is a station where you always stop short. Well, the Bakerloo line is a line for muscle memory and really good route knowledge so that you don't lose a second between stops. Actually, it should be okay to put the lever to parallel more or less from start, right? Because then it goes through its loops. Ah, here it is where the overground line is coming in. And we're back to 45. No, not yet. Still not. Cancel green. Ah, yeah, I remember this is where you got relieved from the 30. At a point where it almost does not make any sense anymore. I can more or less do it in dry weather, but when it's raining or snowing, I can't, this red leader. Well, that is... Oh. No, a bit too fast. And we're still not out of the limit, right? It's totally a matter of getting trained and get the route into muscle memory, but I think in rain and snow, especially the overground part, then if you're driving towards Harrow Wealdstone, is almost undoable. Because the train just does not accelerate fast enough. Yeah, doing the service in time. I understood. So, I think that was the last stop before we get to Queen's Park, no? We passed this spot where they sometimes hide the high-speed train. And then we're running through the depot to Queen's Park. Junction signal. Is it an approach control or was it just held, or was it just simply because of other reasons held to red? And this is also a way to lose time if you're not exactly sure where the switch is. And you slow down to the 15 switch speed. I think it is 15. Then you lose time on end. And I always fall for the signal because I think the junction signal is close to the junction, but actually I have quite a lot of track to travel on. Yeah, here, at least I remembered the 15 limit when going into the depot. So are those multi-home signals coming from this end? Maybe they are. Coming from the other side, you get draw ahead signals into the station. I will see the repeaters are not on. Or where are they? Are there no repeaters? Maybe there aren't. Yeah. And this is where the subway trains go into the tunnel. Here. Whoosh. And here it ends. Alright. This is where you... is there a hop marker too? Ah, I can see it. It is over there. But you have to walk over there then. Obviously. Well, even with being late all the time, the medal requirements are not so super difficult. So coming in here, those signals are draw ahead signals. You have this coacting signal here. What really interestingly... Oh no, no, I am caught on the train. But the coacting signal showed a different aspect than the signal that it was supposed to coact to sit and use the jump feature. Ah, I don't need to walk to this jump thingy, I can just go there. And this is the spot where I spawn, right? Let's see if we get the same thing again. South Hempstead, Kilburn High, Queen's Park. Now that I mentioned it, I still did not try that. Let's just see. So this is... Let's see if we can just manifest over there. Up. That was for fast travel. We're talking about a route. Press E to hop. Yeah. Since I don't have my previously owned stuff, we cannot really hop anywhere. But what I wanted to check is what this coacting signal is actually doing. Because that is actually weird. Probably because it is supposed to coact with that one upstairs, or upstairs, on top of the signal head. And coacting means they're supposed to show the same aspect, but they are not doing that. Probably because there are actually no trains coming out of here, out of the tunnel. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's for this stream. Thank you guys very much for staying with me. Super Paul, Red Leader, Ravens Lofty. Theodorus already went. Guys, have a good night, have a good time, take care, and yeah, if you want, see you tomorrow for our regular slot at 8. And then Juniper, hi, nice to have you on the stream. Didn't see you before. Tomorrow we will be back, even AJ will be there, I hope, but no, not the usual slot, actually later at 2000 UST, that is 10 at our Central European time. Then we will be back. Thanks guys, and we have to be later because AJ will have to work before that and she wants to be on the stream again. Thank you.